Do you know what NUCCA stands for?
No, I wouldn't even try. I wouldn't even hazard a guess on that one.
No idea.
I have no idea.
Nuclear weapons?
An office for some kind of business.
I don't think I could guess.
Natural undercurrents cause cancer awareness.
It's probably something to do with computers.
Neurological, upper something, clavicle association. Was that pretty good?
NUCCA is not a widely known phrase, but what NUCCA stands for is the National Upper Cervical Chiropractic Association. NUCCA is a form of chiropractic care that uses a specific procedure focused on correcting a small misalignment of the neck. This subtle correction ultimately restores optimal balance to the entire spinal column. Because the spinal column protects the central nervous system that controls and coordinates all body functions, good spinal balance is critical to good health. Extensive research and clinical studies over many years have shown that improved body balance effectively reduces stress throughout the body and helps to relieve pain and tension. Even though the primary work is done in the neck, the correction affects the balance of the entire body. This is because the NUCCA procedure subtly influences one of the highest control centers over body balance, the brainstem and central nervous system. The NUCCA procedure essentially helps to get your head on straight. In 1941, two chiropractors from Michigan, Dr. Ralph Gregory and Dr. John Grostick, joined together in developing a more accurate method of rebalancing the body. This procedure effectively helped to reduce pain and discomfort and worked to enhance the overall well-being of the individual. Their work together proved to be very successful, and eventually others joined in their pursuit. The NUCCA organization was formed in 1966 to conduct educational seminars, and the National Upper Cervical Chiropractic Research Association was formed to do extensive research related to spinal corrections of the upper neck region and its effects on improved health. There are many things that add stress to our spinal column. Motor vehicle accidents, a fall, lifting, sitting for too long. Even just the various stresses of day-to-day living can alter our body balance and produce pain and discomfort. After a significant stress or strain to the spinal column, the associated muscles will respond and tighten. The body and spinal column become distorted and less stable. With the spine now locked into a stressed position, every movement becomes an imbalanced movement. This added stress often produces a variety of symptoms that can significantly interfere with the enjoyment of our life. The NUCCA organization has developed a very precise procedure to correct this problem that is based upon mathematics, physics, and biomechanics. The first neck vertebra, also known as the atlas or C1, is a small donut-like ring located at the top of the spine. It is in close proximity to the brainstem, which is the part of the central nervous system responsible for controlling a number of vital body functions. One of these very important functions is the muscle balance of the spinal column. When the atlas is subjected to stress or injury, it can become partly misaligned in relation to the skull and the other vertebrae in the neck. We call this the atlas subluxation complex syndrome, or the ASC syndrome. Even a slight structural misalignment of the upper neck will result in a muscular response that shifts the body balance from normal and adds stress to the spinal column. By making these subtle adjustments to the neck, it is possible to reduce this misalignment and improve body balance. When you visit a NUCCA doctor, an extensive evaluation process begins. Since the severity and type of each spinal misalignment is completely unique to the individual, the process begins by taking a detailed health history. This includes the chief complaints, the location of these symptoms in the body, how they began, and how long they've been present. Any other health problems, injuries, motor vehicle accidents, surgeries, along with other treatment programs, which include diagnostic tests and x-rays, are also evaluated and assessed. After this initial process, The doctor will begin the steps necessary in determining if your spinal column is significantly misaligned or out of balance. You will be asked to lie on the adjusting table, and the doctor will check for a leg length imbalance, which is also known as the short leg phenomenon. This is where the leg is not really shorter, but appears shorter because the hips are imbalanced. Precise measurements of your spinal balance are taken. These measurements are used to determine if you have a significant misalignment that would require a correction. They are also used to determine the progress of your spinal stability on follow-up visits and help in determining when another spinal correction is needed. If it is initially determined that you have significant body imbalance, a specific series of X-rays is performed and mathematically analyzed before your first spinal correction. To obtain an optimal correction, these precise mathematical calculations are used to determine the proper direction for the spinal column to return towards normal. This correction is unique for each patient, and the X-ray series is a critical part of ensuring accuracy and also that a successful correction is achieved. The NUCCA X-ray series involves safety procedures that use low technique settings, along with specially designed filters to further reduce X-ray exposure to the patient. When it's time for your spinal adjustment, the doctor will have you lie on the adjusting table on your side and position your head in a very specific fashion. This is based on the information obtained from the X-rays. The doctor will be positioned at a specific stance, again determined from the X-ray analysis, and will place their hand near your ear. This is where the side of the atlas or first neck vertebra is located. The doctor will apply a number of very light and subtle corrections that move the spinal bones of the neck very carefully. It takes very little shifting of the bones to relieve nerve pressure. The precision of the procedure means the spinal correction is subtle in its application, but the positive effects on the nervous system and improved body balance are not. Because it's important to receive the best possible correction on your first visit, the doctor will take 2 post-X-rays following the initial correction. These post-X-ray films will show the doctor how the spine responded to the adjustment. This is typically done only after your first adjustment. If the X-ray measurements indicate that the correction was not optimal, the doctor will continue to readjust you until a favorable balance is achieved. We know that the better the spinal correction, the better the chance of recovery. Because each spinal correction and healing response is unique to the individual, you will be monitored closely with follow-up visits. These visits help ensure the spinal correction is maintained for as long as possible and the healing process continues. Correcting and stabilizing the spine may require a number of adjustments over a period of time. The objective measurements used in the NUCCA procedure, such as the initial pre- and post-X-rays, leg length checks, and spinal balance measurements, help to monitor the recovery process over time. It's helpful to remember, healing is a process, not an event. Recovery continues as long as the adjustment or correction holds and optimal spinal balance is maintained. Adjustments are only given when the body demonstrates a sufficient misalignment. After your spinal correction, you will want to be mindful of looking after yourself during the initial phase of the healing process. Your doctor will help you to understand what you can do to help maintain your spinal correction. Being adjusted as few times as possible is ideal, and it is our goal to help you achieve this. Hopefully, you now know the importance of good body balance. its influence on improved nerve function, and how NUCCA plays an important role in restoring and maintaining good health. When it comes to offering help for spinal-related problems, we know that no one procedure offers a 100% solution. What a NUCCA doctor can offer is a way to correct body imbalance to relieve stress on the spinal column and nervous system, help you stay corrected, and enhance your understanding of spinal care, both the correction and prevention of problems. And what is possible for you to gain from this care is relief from your problem, recovery over time, and regained stability and function. NUCCA has helped thousands of people of all ages regain and maintain their health throughout their lifetime. NUCCA offers a conservative approach to healing that is specific to that person and works to enhance the body's own ability to be well. If you would like your spinal column checked for imbalance, a NUCCA doctor would be pleased to consult with you. A referral from another healthcare practitioner is not needed. You simply need to contact a licensed NUCCA practitioner in your area. The NUCCA procedure is taught through accredited chiropractic colleges, and the education and research traditions carry on today with the NUCCA organization, offering educational conferences attended by both chiropractic students and experienced doctors from all over the world. Seminars include research updates and a certification program designed to enhance the knowledge and skills of practicing NUCCA doctors. For more information on NUCCA, or to obtain a listing of the NUCCA chiropractor nearest to you, please visit the NUCCA website at www.nucca.org, or please contact the address or phone number printed on this video. Thank you for watching, and we wish you a lifetime of good balance and exceptional health. The National Upper Cervical Chiropractic Association, helping people keep a healthy balance.
What brought me to NUCCA is 5 car accidents between the ages of 15 and 21, and had a lot of pain, headaches, pain throughout my body. After using a variety of therapies, finally found out about a NUCCA practitioner, decided to try it. I had to drive about 450 miles to see the practitioner, the chiropractor, and I was pretty scared about that. I was reasonably stable. I had reduced my pain significantly. I was maintaining reasonably well. I still couldn't do the things I wanted to do, so I was quite scared about that. And the chiropractor felt comfortable with him, and we went through the procedure. It was painless, and the nice part about it was I felt wonderful afterwards. Thanks to the NUCCA procedure, I've basically gotten my life back. I can do the things that I've always done before the car accidents, and I've been able to do many other things that I never dreamed possible.
Well, I can remember 17 years ago being in a lot of pain. I fell off a balance beam and I landed on my head. And I guess from that point I was in different therapies for a long time. And I remember having a headache for an entire year. And other things started to pop up, not just the headache. It was a domino effect. So for about 17 years I was trying to find the cure. It really held me back from doing a lot of vital things in life. And finally I came to the NUCCA chiropractor, and I was amazed. At first I was skeptical. It's such a gentle approach, and I didn't think that was going to help me. And with the proper alignment and also taking control of my own health, I was amazed at what it's done. And for the last 4 years, I really have had my life back.
I started playing senior hockey when I was 17 years old. Played for Turner Valley Oilers. That was in 1937. When the war ended, Tiny Thompson had signed me up for a Chicago training camp. They sent me to Kansas City, their farm team. And I played for Kansas City. That year, they had Omaha in there, and there was a guy, I guess you know, Gordie Howe played for Omaha. He was on the right wing for Omaha. I was on the left wing with Kansas City. You could imagine going into the corners with him. And I think I got a few bumps from him with them elbows. I feel better now, 30 years later, than I felt at that time, you know, from the discipline treatment. Not only the back, but my whole system seems to work better. It's helped us tremendously. It's altogether different. I don't feel no more pain. Before I couldn't get out of bed sometime. I'd have to roll out and then twist around to, and it just, I can't say how much it helps.
The history of my back problems date back to 1976, when I was galloping my horse through a rutty field and he tripped and I fell off, and I fell off in a sitting position. And what I wound up doing was having a compression fracture in my lower back. So I've lived with chronic pain since that time, and I thought I have no recourse, it'll never get better. But I sought other practitioners and other caregivers to try and help me out, to try and ease that pain. But what I found is that it hurt me more than helping me. And I would go home after getting a treatment, and I would have to apply ice to my lower back. And I thought at that time, well, this is just how it is. I'm just going to have to live with it. I am active, and I always have been active, so I would stretch, do exercise, I would go for walks. So everything that everybody told me to do, I did, but still it didn't ease the pain. And about 3 years ago, I heard about the NUCCA method of treatment, and I was a little skeptical. I was going, well, how can adjusting one area up by your neck affect the lower back, where I was having most of my pain, and into my hip? And so I finally went in, and I got a treatment, and it was almost instant relief. I found that I had much more flexibility in my stride, in my lower back. And I also found that after 6 or 8 weeks, if I wasn't feeling well and I didn't go in for an adjustment, that then again I wouldn't be feeling well. So I found that going in when I needed to go in to have the adjustments done, my whole lifestyle, everything about it would feel a lot better.
I began looking at NUCCA care for 2 different reasons. One is for my own personal health, but the other was a curiosity to see what it really did. And I think as a physician and as a psychiatrist and a practitioner of alternative types of medicine, that it's very important for us to be open-minded and see what approaches can be helpful, because it's not really one approach or another, but how we put things together. So I was curious for those 2 reasons with the NUCCA technique, but I also had 2 sons who I think needed some help that I couldn't get in other areas. Not because we didn't try, but because it wasn't working. I have a young son who is 12 years of age, and he's been coming for the NUCCA technique for about 4 years now. And I have noticed he is asthmatic, that when he has treatments, that his breathing is so much better for weeks afterwards. Kids are good barometers of their own health, and he tells me when he feels that he needs to have a treatment and how it works. I see him much more active. And for kids, I think it's such a non-invasive approach. It's non-threatening. It doesn't involve needles, which kids are worried about. It doesn't involve medications, which have side effects. And it really helps him to settle down. I think that the NUCCA procedure really takes the patient beyond symptomatic relief and helps them to actually get real, true, long-term healing, and helps them to just to go that next step beyond, so that they can heal and develop their function and maintain that, instead of having to use more therapy and constant symptomatic relief procedures. It takes them way beyond.
you.